Hello friends and welcome to an episode of LTKHLTH. It's Forgive My Foul Mouth Friday and I'm sitting here barefoot outside. Hope you're all doing real well, enjoying the lifted quarantine. Some of you may or may not have access to a mask and are wearing bandanas. Hopefully that'll help. I don't know. Maybe more of you have grown beards that can just cover your face and you can quilt it together, which is something the CDC will be recommending in the next few months. It's growing a beard over your face, growing your hair over your face, because they've still kept the salons and barbershops closed. Your hair is long enough to grow in front of your face with little eye holes, and then cover for nose spaces, and use your hair as a mask. Great idea. Great idea. Adaptation, the theme of this week. I've decided that because the lack of festivals and how affected we all are and how sad it's kind of making us collectively, I'm going to say today happy daisy to people when I see them, if I see them walking around, or happy rue in June, and happy forests at the end of June, beginning of July, for the festivals that would be going on right now if it were real life, but it's not, and who knows when it's going to come back. It's rough, it's scary. But today we're going to talk about Peep on ventilators, and an explanation as to why 80% of people who are put on ventilators with COVID-19 end up dying. And that is because with COVID-19, they do wait to ventilate. They don't start ventilating at the oxygen saturations that they generally would for respiratory distress patients, which is around 70s, 60s. You start to wonder, are you going to intubate to get up their oxygen, keep it up with a breathing machine, a ventilator? And with COVID-19, they're not showing the symptoms of respiratory distress. Like, they're not passed out, they're not out of their mind at 60, 70% oxygen saturation. So they wait. They try to use the nasal cannula. I've heard they use the nasal cannula and non-rebreather over the cannula, and just use that for pressure, because the pressure addition is what's really important and what they end up seeing they need with the ventilator, because as soon as they knock them out, it's something I realized is the best way to put it to people who haven't been ventilated is if you've ever been in a pool and if you've felt like you're drowning, like you're starting to drown. They tell lifeguards, number one thing you need to do when someone's drowning, when you're saving them, is knock them out. You have to knock them out to save them, because they're gonna try to fight you, because they're feeling that death, doom, so they're gonna lash out, which is what happens when you're put on a ventilator, because one, you're gonna need it. That's why so many people die, is because you absolutely need it, because they've waited so long and you're out of oxygen reserves, and this is the last ditch effort, which is not great. It's not a good thing to say. So you're ventilated, you're fighting for your life, you have to be tied down, because again, in order to save your life, you got to be knocked out first. So they're sedating you, and then as your lungs deteriorate, because you're not feeling the need to breathe for your own self, you require more and more pressure. It's positive and expiratory pressure. It's the last bit. Like if you are blowing into a balloon and you let the air out partially and leave it just enough to keep it inflated and open. With these patients, from their inflammatory response, the cytokine storm flooding their lungs, need more and more, to the point of it just popping that balloon, popping those lungs. So it's frightening. You want to stay away from that. You don't want to be ventilated, and I hope people recover, but it's way more serious than just a cold And it's hard to explain as a nurse to people who are just really frustrated that they can't go to bars and buy cheese and wineries. Because I miss festivals. I get it. Fuck. Anyways, happy days, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And good Foul Mouth Friday, but good fucking evening. Thank you.